Hey guys, Billy here, welcome back to my channel. I recently decided that I wanted to upgrade my belt drive on my board. Reason for this video is because I want to talk about the differences between Spur Gear Drive and also Pro Belt Drive for all the people that are stuck between the both, and I just want to talk about the differences. Hopefully you guys can understand why I chose one to the other and changed over time, and helps you decide what you want to get on your trampa board if and when you get one. So why I chose a Spur Gear Drive. So the reason I actually chose a Spur Gear Drive was because over time, the way I've ridden my trampa has changed quite a lot. Originally when I first bought my Pro Gear Drive, which I had beforehand, I actually firstly bought the Spur Gear Drive, but it came to my house. Firstly, I had no idea what I was doing. Secondly, I had 190 kV like non-trampa motors on, and sadly it wouldn't fit. And thirdly, well, it is not thirdly really, but anyway. So I actually went up to Trampa and they said, why don't you try a Pro Belt Drive instead, just because that might be more you. Because like I say, at the time I was into racing street, I was into just getting as much speed as I could. I didn't really care about off-roading, plus I live in London, so they was like, why don't you try this? So I ended up trying it, I ended up buying it instead and swapping it over to what I had currently, which was a Spur Drive, which I didn't even try, keep in mind. So yeah, so I ended up with the Pro Belt Drive in the end, which was good for a little while. I liked the speed, I liked the fact that I could hit top speeds of just over 30, 35 even, and the torque to get up to it wasn't so bad. But then the problems came. Okay, when I say problems, I don't mean problems with the Pro Belt Drive itself. Don't get me wrong, it was a great bit of tech, it was great, it did everything I wanted it to do and even more. But my taste of riding the trampa slowly evolved and changed. I started to go to dirt tracks, I started to learn how to jump, board grabs, just trying to do stuff that all the trampa lads do. And it changed the way I rode so much that when I was fully accelerating and trying to go max speed within a second, the belt was slipping over slightly. I was snapping belts constantly when I was always putting pressure on the belts all the time, like literally every week I snapped one belt. And it was just getting a bit too much for me. I'd have two spare, but then by the time I've ordered new ones, I've already snapped those two and I'm still sitting there waiting to ride my trampa again, just so I can go out riding more and more. And it kind of got a bit annoying because in the end I didn't actually mind having the lower top end speed, because it's not something I'm after now. So that's what I did. So I chose to get the Spur Gear Drive. So some facts about the Spur Gear Drive. Firstly, the top speed is lowered massively compared to if you were on a Pro Belt Drive. So the main differences between Spur Gear Drive and Pro Belt Drive is top end torque versus top end speed. It's either one or the other you'd want. So if you want to get top end torque, be super fast accelerating, but then have a limited top speed over just under 30, then that's Spur Gear Drive all the way. Whereas if you're after top speed, you want to go as fast as you can, and you're not too fussed about how torquey the board is, and you're not really going to take it off-road as much, then by all means Pro Belt Drive is the one to go to. Okay, so on 8-inch tyres with the pulley on the wheel itself being 58 teeth, aka helical, the top speed is 27 miles per hour, and that goes the same for straight tooth as well, which is 59 tooth. It doesn't actually change at all. That's if you're on 160 kV motors, but trampa now actually do 185 kV motors, which for Pro Belt Drive I don't actually know what the changes of speed is. But for the Spur Gear Drive, I can tell you that with the helical setup, you'd get 32 miles per hour on the 185 kV motors, whereas on the straight setup with the straight pulley, you'd get 31 miles per hour. So it's 1 miles per hour difference, which doesn't make much of a difference, but it's still a good top speed if you're into that. For the 9-inch tyres on helical, you would get 31 miles per hour. So it goes up, this is for 160 kV. So it goes up to what the 185 kV would be doing on 8-inch, which is pretty cool. And then on straight it's 31 miles per hour. But then on the 185 kV motors, on helical it's 36 miles per hour. And on straight it's 35 miles per hour. So the speed is still going up. And keep in mind that even though you've got really high speed, you also have really high torque. So this is really the best of both wheels in one. And finally, for all you crazy folks out there, 10-inch, which is absolutely crazy as I said before, but if you're into 10-inch wheels, then you'll be getting some pretty decent speeds for a gear drive. So on a helical pulley with 10-inch tyres, you would get 34 miles per hour. And with straight, you'd get 34.2, which is not too bad. It's much more higher than it was previously and much more higher than what I'm getting currently. And it does make me want to have bigger tyres, of course. But when you go into the 185 kV, this is where it changes quite a bit. On the 10 inch with a helical pulley, with the 185 kV motors, you'd get 40 miles per hour. And then on the straight, you'd get 39 miles per hour. So that's quite interesting that actually you'd get less on the straight than you do on the pulley. But then again as well, the straight has 59 tooth and the helical has 58 tooth. So less teeth means more speed but less torque. So with the Pro Belt drive, if you're on 8 inches, which is 200mm wheels, and your motor pulley is 13 tooth, you'll get on your 160 kV motors, if you're using that, you'd get 31 miles per hour, which is great. And it goes up just slightly if you're using 14 tooth, you'd get 33 miles per hour, and if you're using 15 tooth, you get 35 miles an hour. So if you're all about speed, that's the best thing to do. If you're on the 9 inches and you're using the Pro Belt drive, on 13 tooth on the motor pulley, you'd get 35 miles per hour. On the 14 tooth, you get 38 miles per hour, and on the 15 tooth, you get 41 miles per hour, which is absolutely crazy. If you really like those top speeds, then that's the best thing to do. And then for the really, really elite top end of wheels, if you're all about the 10 inch wheels, which are absolutely crazy by the way, they're like the size of wheelbarrows. With a 13 tooth on 10 inch wheels, you get 39 miles per hour, which is already crazy, and it's still going up. With 14 tooth, you'd get 42 miles per hour, and with 15 tooth, you get 45 miles per hour, which is absolutely crazy. That is top end speeds that you probably never hit, and your battery would drain very quickly because, as I'm sure everyone who's watching this would know, or if you don't, the bigger the wheel, the more range it will take off. With the different types of motor pulleys, which I actually mentioned just previously a moment ago, 13 tooth, 14 tooth and 15 tooth, the difference is whether you want all torque, all round or top speed. So if you use the higher tooth, you get more top speed. If you use the very lowest tooth, you get more torque. But then if you use middle tooth, it's a bit of best of both worlds. In my opinion, I think that the Pro Belt drive was probably best for on road, through London, on the streets, anywhere where I wanted to take off fast enough, or if I'm riding in the road and I want to go faster than the car, or just get out of the way or something, or even just using it for everyday use from A to B. When I was at the skate parks, yeah, it was good, but I felt like I needed more torque. When using the Pro Belt drive, just make sure when you're going off-road, say you're going into the forest or whatnot, always take a few spare belts with you, because especially with the forest, and especially with belts, if you get something caught in that Pro Belt drive somehow, then it may snap your belt. So the Spur Gear Drive, first and foremost, you have a choice. When you get a Spur Gear Drive, you can either go helical or you can go straight. The difference between them both is helical is much more quiet, but straight is much more louder. So if you want to sound like a go-kart or an F1 car and zoom in down the road like I do, choose straight. If you want to be a bit more quiet, a bit more subtle, but still there's no performance difference, then go helical by all means. Like I say, I chose straight because it's a big board, it's a loud board, you want to know that you're coming along, you want people to know that you're coming along, so I just thought straight was the best option. And from just the sound of it coming along the roads and zooming past people, it's amazing, and I'm really happy that the board sounds as it does, and it makes me enjoy it even more when I'm riding it now. I've also realised that the torque is crazy different, and when I say crazy different, I mean Pro Belt drive torque, Spur, I'm gonna have to go back here, but Spur Gear Drive torque, it's insane. If you go 0 to 100 on your remote, you will go 0 to 100 on the spot. There won't be no belt slipping, there won't be nothing like that, because it doesn't exist, and the maintenance is much less on the Gear Drive. Now, from my sort of view of this, Spur Gear Drive is definitely the way to go. Not only are you getting no input lag of acceleration, and by that I mean when you accelerate on the belt, you have to wait for the belt to tighten up a little bit, and then you can start spinning and going. But on the Gear Drive, no lag, just because it's literally interconnected, so as soon as you start accelerating, it will accelerate straight away. And it's crazy because it's already made a big difference. I've been riding my Spur Gear Drive for a day and a half now, and I'm already enjoying it much more. I've realised that there is a big difference in the top speed, and that's something that it will take getting used to, but it's something that I think I will get used to. I won't have to worry about top speed anymore. and maybe even get bigger tyres like I mentioned before, so I can get that little bit of extra speed but drains my range a little bit more. Overall, I think I've done a good investment here. I'm hoping now that some limitations are out of the way from what I had on the Pro belt drive compared to the gear drive, I feel like now I can progress further, I can get on with more stuff. Hopefully I can do some cooler tricks, I can get more acceleration towards a ramp and then be able to jump that ramp, maybe with just a little bit more power than I had previously, just because the belt would slip slightly and I just had minor issues with it. Okay, awesome guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I thought I'd just chat about just the differences. Maybe it might, maybe it hasn't, but it might have helped you guys on thinking about what you'd want to get if you get yourself a trampa board or a mountain board of some sort. If you like this video, please hit the like button below, chuck a comment in, tell us if you're riding a board, what board you're riding. If not, tell us what board you want to get. Thank you for watching guys, and peace.